Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The name Pratnyawati as the lecturer English and Phonetic and Phonology. And my happy friend, we from Group 4, we will present of the result a journal review titled The Impact of Lexical Skills and Executive Functioning in L1 and L2 Phonological Awareness in Bilingual Kindergarten, complete by Henry Kwakkel, Minky Drop, Ludo Verhoeven, and Elina Segers. The study examined how lexical skills such as vocabulary and lexical acuity, as well as executive function such as attention, short-term memory, and self-regulation, contribute to phonological awareness in kindergarten-age children. Phonological awareness itself, it's the ability to recognize and manipulate sound in language, and it's an important foundation in early literacy development, both in our first language L1 and second language L2. This study is interesting because it focuses in building children who are learning Dutch as L1 and L2. The main objective is to find out how children's cognitive and linguistic skills play a role in shaping phonological ability in both languages.
Okay, next we move to the methodology used and findings. So the study involved 178 kindergarten children in the Netherlands, consisting of two groups, a Dutch-English bilingual group and a Dutch monolingual group. Their average age was about 5 years and 10 months. The researchers used various tests to measure these three things. The first one is vocabulary and lexical specificity. And then the second one, executive functions such as visual sustained attention, auditory attention, verbal short-term memory, and self-regulation. And then the last one, phonological awareness in first language and second language in the form of phoneme segmentation and blending. So next, there is an analysis about the research result. So the result showed that in the first language, Dutch, phonological awareness is most influenced by lexical specificity, verbal short-term memory, and behavioral self-regulation. And then in the second language, or English, this ability is more influenced by phonological awareness in Dutch and visual attention. This suggests a strong cross-language transfer effect from first language to second language. Moreover, the research suggests that vocabulary alone is not strong enough to predict phonological ability, but rather must be built alongside supporting executive functions.
Alright, for the next one, I'm going to explain about the analysis, implications, and limitations. Well, the findings from this study provide several important insights. The firstly is the presence of the phonological transfer from the first to the second language suggests that bilingual children can build their language skills across systems, especially if the two languages are phonetically similar, such as Dutch and English. And then secondly, this study reinforces the idea that language ability doesn't only depend on the amount of vocabulary, but it also strongly influenced by the executive functions such as attention and memory. Therefore, bilingual education programs should not only focus on language ability itself, but also pay attention to the training children's self-regulations and concentrations early on. However, this study also has the limitations. One of them is the limited durations of exposure to the second language, which is about 22 months. In addition, this study is cross-sectional, not longitudinal, so it can show long-term changes in ability. And for educators and curriculum designers, these results suggest that phonological learning can be strengthened through the strategies that also develop the children's basic cognitive skills. So that's all from our presentations of scientific articles that we consider it's very relevant to the field of the phonetics and phonology, especially in the context of bilingualisms in early childhood. And we hopefully this presentations is useful and can be a reference in understanding the role of lexical skills and executive functions in the development of children's phonological awareness. I want to say thank you very much for your attentions and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.